So the first exchange I ever used was centralized. And honestly, for a long time, I didn't question that because I didn't have a reference point for anything different. You sign up, you verify your identity, you deposit. And that whole sequence just feels normal because it mirrors everything else on the internet. But at some point, I started paying closer attention to what was actually happening with the funds during a swap. And that's when the model started feeling a lot less comfortable. Because the more you understand about how custody works, the more you realize how much control you're giving up without really thinking about it. That realization is what pushed me toward non-custodial services. And today I want to show exactly what using one of them looks like in practice, and then a proper breakdown of why this approach is structurally different from what most people are used to.
And I'll finish with the actual framework I use to tell legitimate platforms apart from everything else in this space, because that skill is genuinely hard to develop and worth talking about. So first thing, I'm going with Sol to BTC. Solid pair, widely understood, nothing that's going to distract from the process itself. Okay, coming to this screen here, selecting Solana as the asset I'm sending, confirmed, Bitcoin on the receiving end, good, that's set. And right below the pair selection, the breakdown of my exchange, rate, fee, estimated time to completion. Okay, checking through that one more time. Yeah, everything looks right. Let's keep going. So the destination address field for BTC is here. There's also a refund address input, which I fill in every time without exception just as a precaution, and an optional email field for status updates. Hold on a moment.
Okay, all done. Moving to the next screen. This is the summary page. Full order breakdown before anything gets submitted. Send asset, receive asset, rate, addresses, fee. Every single field matches what I entered and what was quoted on the previous screen. No surprises. Now accepting the privacy policy and placing the order. Okay, order is live. Now it's waiting on my transfer. That's confirmed, and now the system's processing automatically from here. Bitcoin will arrive at my wallet in a few minutes. So while that's running, this is a good moment to actually explain what's happening in the background, because the technical side is what makes this whole model worth understanding. So the core question with any swap service is really just this: who controls the funds while the exchange is happening? On a non-custodial platform, nobody does, except me. There's no moment in the transaction where the assets land in a wallet that the service owns or controls.
My wallet sends the AVAX. The swap happens at the blockchain level. My wallet gets the USDT. The platform's job in all of this is essentially organizational. It figures out the rate, sequences the execution, makes sure the routing's correct, but it never actually holds anything. And when you compare that to how a centralized exchange works, the difference is pretty significant. On a CEX, everything starts with a deposit, and a deposit means handing your assets to the platform and trusting that you'll get them back under whatever conditions they decide to set. That creates a whole layer of dependency, withdrawal limits, account verification, the platform's own financial health, that just doesn't exist in the non-custodial model. There's no account to get frozen here because there's no account. There's no withdrawal queue because the output goes straight on chain. And if this service went down entirely right now, mid-transaction, the swap would still settle because the blockchain doesn't need the platform's servers to be running. That's just how on-chain execution actually works.
Now, I want to talk about something that I think most coverage in this space either glosses over or avoids entirely, which is the scale of the fake platform problem. What I actually look at when I'm evaluating platform for the first time, how the interface holds together. And I don't mean whether it looks good. I mean whether it feels like it was built by people who understood what the product needed to do. Things like whether the information on each screen is organized in a way that makes sense, whether the steps follow a logical order, whether the text is precise and clear. Platforms that are built with real intent tend to have a consistency to them that runs all the way through. The ones that aren't have rough edges, small things that are slightly off, places where the care ran out. Second thing I look at, probably the most important, is whether the platform actually explains in plain, readable terms how the funds move through the system and what protections are in place. Okay, wrapping this up, it was the first time someone in my network asked me what swap service I'd recommend, and I answered without thinking about it, just immediately said the name. And that kind of reflexive answer only happens when something has been reliable long enough that it stops being a conscious choice and just becomes the default. That's not something you can manufacture. It builds up over time through consistent experience, through all the moments where something could have gone sideways and didn't. Over 100 transactions across this platform, different pairs, different amounts, different times, and that default setting has never given me a reason to second guess it. In a space where finding something you'd recommend without hesitation is genuinely difficult, that's worth more than anything else I could say about it.